Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at a new Lucario card. And just like the cards we looked at yesterday, links in the description, this is another one of those cards that helps out Tag Team GXs, because apparently they weren't good enough before. Now, of course, our translation here does come from the lovely David Hochmann over at RappelmannTCG on Facebook. And look at the artwork. It's got Garchomp and Giratina on. Because, you know, that's a Tag Team GX we're getting in this set. So what does it actually do? Well, if we start with the basics, 120 HP is annoying because Zoroark's one-hit KOing you. Which is super annoying because one of the best things about being a fighting Pokemon is that you are hitting weakness against stuff like Zoroark and Pikachu and Zekrom. And we'll get more into it in a moment, but you can one-hit KO both of those with this. Retreat cost of 2 kind of sucks. Weakness to Psychic is fine. Malamar decks are around, but to be honest with you, they're going to be one-hit KOing you anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But being a fighting Pokemon does matter, and being a fighting Pokemon is good. You got Brooklet Hill to get all of your basics out. You got Diancie Prism Star to do an extra 20 damage, which is nice. And you are, like previously mentioned, hitting weakness against Zoroark and Pikachu and Zekrom. It is a good time to be a fighting Pokemon. But the main draw of this card is the ability, and according to the lovely David Hochmann, it reads all of your tag team Pokemon take 20 less damage from your opponent's attacks. Cool. It's Hard Charm. Except it's not just Hard Charm. It is Hard Charm on all of your Pokemon that are tag teams that cannot be removed by a Field Blower. Because you see, one of the things about Hard Charm, or Eviolite, or any of this kind of stuff, you whack it on, your opponent gets rid of it. And it's in their control. So, if they just drop a Field Blower before they attack, this goes away. They get to just do as much damage as they wanted to, and you're out in the cold, so to speak, metaphorically. It's not a good thing for you. This gets around all of that. It's an ability on a non-basic, non-GX. Were it a basic, we'd be going, Lola Muck turned it off, but we're not. Were it a GX, we'd be going, Glaceon turns it off, but we're not. Okay, admittedly, your opponent can use a Slacking, and you do find the odd Slacking deck here and there. Not really at the top tables of tournaments, but it can happen. But that's not what's happening here, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what's happening here. So it's staying around. But the other thing we need to mention here is that this stacks. And that's huge. Now, it's unlikely, right? It's unlikely that this is actually going to happen. But let's just say for a second that it does. Well, now, all of a sudden, you're sitting there taking 80 less damage from your opponent's attacks. Now, one of the first uses for this that comes to mind for me, it's Celebi and Venusaur. Celebi and Venusaur is going to absolutely love this. Because you see, Celebi and Venusaur generally plays a blocking kind of deck. It's got 270 HP, and it's generally played with stuff like Life Forest Prism Star and the Shaman from Lost Thunder, and it just sits there and blocks. And you heal. Well, how about getting a couple of Lucario down? Remember, we've got Brooklet Hill, and yes, I know Life Forest Prism Star, but you can only play one of them. It's going to be removed at some point. And to be honest, if your opponent can't get rid of Life Forest Prism Star, you ain't going to be upset going, I really wish I was able to pop a Brooklet Hill down. You're going to be healing 60 damage a turn, and you're going to be absolutely loving it. Plus, you're going to be essentially immune to special conditions, so yeah, or at least able to remove them immediately. You ain't going to care, ladies and gentlemen. You ain't gonna care. But now, in theory, you got 270 HP. You're healing every turn. And you're taking like 80 less damage from attacks. So, let's say for argument's sake, something like Pikachu and Zekrom comes along. Well, generally speaking, Pikachu and Zekrom can do 200 damage with the second attack. Now, with a choice band, they're up to 230. Even with a Professor Kukui, then only actually up to 250. But then, of course, in comes Electro Power. So let's say, for argument's sake, we're not playing Professor Kukui, we're just going full Electro Power. Well, here, they're doing 200. So it's going to take 3 in any combination of Electro Power and Choice Band to get up to 290 and get the KO. That's what it's going to take. Now imagine you've got 4 Lucario down on the field. In order to get a one-hit KO now, they have to do 350. Now, to be fair, that is technically possible. 4 Electro Power plus a Choice Band will do 350. And that will get a one-hit KO. So they can do it. But once again, your opponent has to use their GX attack with a Choice Band and 4 Electro Power all on the same turn just to get a one-hit KO. Now, this is just an example. And clearly, right, if you're against something like Reshiram and Charizard that's hitting you for weakness, you don't stand a chance. Because they're doing 460 with the first attack because of weakness. You are going down to that. There is no way you're getting away from that. That's fine. To be honest, when you're playing Celebi and Venusaur, you look at that and you're like, yeah, okay, good game, mate. You win. You're good. Now, this doesn't have to be with Celebi and Venusaur. It can be with any Tag Team GX. But it's about the numbers. So something like a Buzzwole coming against a Pikachu and Zekrom should be doing exactly 240. So any one of these, and you're actually blocking and they're not getting a KO. And sure, they can use Diancie Prism Star, but then you can stop them doing that. Maybe 3 of these, and even Diancie Prism Star won't get the KO. You're stopping the numbers here, and that's what's key. Really, how good Lucario is going to depend on which Tag Team GX you're playing and which matchups you're worried about. And whether 20 or 40 less damage is going to make a difference. Because if it is, you're rolling. The other thing you can do here, of course, is play this with Choice Helmet and just go nuts. Just go, you know what? I'm taking 30 less from attacks because of me Choice Helmet, and I'm taking 20 less for each Lucario. Come at me, bro. I am tanking. And Celebi and Venusaur is the obvious option for this, but there are others. The one that makes me really sad, however, is Marshadow and Machamp Tag Team GX. Because I just don't think it's good. Which is really annoying, right? Because otherwise, I think we'd be in a really good position where you're already playing all the fighting stuff, you're already playing Fighting Energy, you're already playing Brooklet Hill, so you could just whack this into a Marshadow and Machamp deck and it fits in really easily. I just don't buy that as a Tag Team GX. It's the only one which has been released in Japan and I've not seen a winning list for. That doesn't mean it hasn't won a tournament, but it means it's unlikely that it's won a tournament because generally people are pretty good at sharing these with me, which is very sad. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in terms of the attack here, fighting double colorless 90 damage. It's fine. If you're playing double colorless energy anyway, and a Celebi and Venusaur deck probably will be, then this is quite good. And if you're hitting weakness, it really is quite good. So against a Zoroark, you just need a Diancie, and you get the KO. Against a Pikarom, you just need a Choice Band, and you get the KO. If you're not hitting for weakness, you're frankly going to be too far away. 90 against non-GXs isn't good enough. Even 110 with Diancie is not really good enough. You'll get some, but not enough. And then 140 with a Choice Band and a Diancie Prism Star just isn't enough for GXs. The attack is fine if you're hitting for weakness, and certainly if you play this in Celebi and Venusaur, there's nothing to stop you playing the old Rainbow Energy here and just going for the occasional Lucario play. That is an option that you have, but generally speaking, this isn't an attacker. It's good for the ability, and the ability's good. This is good for Tag Team GXs. The only real question here is whether you're going to find space in your deck and whether you're going to find room on your bench. And that depends what Tag Team GX you're playing and whether you're worried about matchups. But certainly something like Celebi and Venusaur, I could see this being teched in, and I could see this being an awful lot of fun. So let's give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. Could end up being absolutely crucial in a whole bunch of Tag Team GX decks. Could end up never really seeing any play in any of them. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. And in the meantime, I would very much like to know what you think about this new Lucario, so please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about other games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.